And greet our people.
Dear viewers of Family TV, I'm glad and blessed to be here this Alan Chile morning to talk about issues at hand. Of course, our learners, our dear children, are home for their holidays, and of course, a lot lies ahead of them. My name is Katumba Umar. I'm a mentor at the Stepping Stone platform.
Right.
I'm a teacher professionally, and I'm an adolescent coach. Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. So today we're going to talk about the need for social support to these holiday makers. But first of all, what is social support?
Social support is a range of so many things. Of course, social support, the need for social support for these holiday makers is derived from a certain context, from what lies ahead of them. Social support is basically that help that needs to be advanced to the youths, to the holiday makers, to the teenagers, that needs to be extended to them. It can be in terms of information, that's one, because some of them fall culpable for certain things simply because they lack information in regards to certain things. Secondly, it can be in terms of company. Yes, some of these youngsters do lack that company. You understand?
Yes.
Some of it can be in terms of finance. Some of them lack some of the necessities simply because of finances. You get? So social support is a lot. It comprises of so many things. Social support also characterizes with what we call psychosocial support. Yes, we can have the information, but when these youngsters are not properly molded and groomed psychologically, so there is need for a lot of psychosocial support in the course of this long holiday. So generally, social support is what makes these youngsters transform into, number one, responsible, and then number two, all-around human beings later on in life. Yes.
That's interesting. And now, since we are seeing them home, what lies ahead of these?
A lot lies ahead of them. A lot. It's a lot. I'm a teacher and a senior administrator in a secondary school. Okay. Secondly, under the Stepping Stone platform, we assess and look at a lot. What lies ahead of these youngsters? There is a lot of redundancy that is coming up there.
Okay.
You understand, 2 solid and full months at home.
Yes.
You understand. Secondly, there are so many societal problems and challenges. Of course, some of the things that these the youngsters do, it's not as a result of their own making, but it's as a result of the societies from which they hail from. You get?
Yes.
Of course, we all know that what surrounds us, what we see, normally shapes the character that comes up from such a person. There is a lot of bad habits that lies ahead of them. In the Stepping Stone platform, we so much deal with youngsters from the age of 8 up to 19, 25 years and so on. But you may find that it's normally the holiday makers, these people that were sent home for their holidays, that fall prey for most of the bad habits. For example, the homosexuality that is arising of late.
Yes.
There is a lot of moral decay. There is a lot of betting, and there's so many other bad things. So a lot lies ahead of these youngsters in the course of this long holiday. And to you, our dear parents, I believe by the end of this program, we would have, number one, diagnosed the cause. What causes this? That's one. And then secondly, we get solutions, yes, for the holiday makers, because at the end of the day, we want them to transform, we want them transformed into better humans, because it's the future Uganda. We are looking up to them. So what do we do now? Yes.
Yeah. Now, as you did mention of the cause, now can we straight away delve into this?
Yes.
Because we want to flow very well.
Okay. Thank you so much. The cause is, number one, of late there is what we call a lot of advancement. We love the 21st century. Parents love it so much. These youngsters that we are handling love the 21st century so much, but it has come with so many bad things. This technological advancement, yes, these these teenagers, these adolescents are having phones.
Yes.
There is a lot of technology. There is that technological advancement that is coming with so many negative effects. On the phones, there is a lot of explicit content that even the parents out there do not understand. You'll find that most of the parents do have phones to which they can only operate about 10% of the content that is there. But
Yes.
these youngsters can always explore almost 70%. Did you know that they have passwords? There is a phone. They brought us a child at the Stepping Stone platform, and she was hiding explicit content in a calculator. There is an application that looks just like a calculator. Even when you operate it, it's a calculator, but it's hiding something behind there. You get? There is a lot of explicit content on these uncoordinated search engines, the Google and so on. So you understand?
Yes.
Let
me ask you, how is this going to be addressed? If you can, given that example.
Yes.
The child is already far in
Yes,
mind. How is this going to be regulated?
This is only going to be regulated if at all parents seek information.
Okay.
Yes, they need to seek information because one, we ought to understand that not all parents are learned. No,
Yes,
not all parents are learned. That's one. Then secondly, not all parents are advanced. Some are learned, but not in this 21st century setting, because at least for us, some of us are very lucky that we operate in modern societies. But some are learned, but then still they do not operate in modern societies. So they need to seek for advice. They need to seek for information. They need to seek for that support from different organizations, from different personnels. For example, the Stepping Stone platform. You get? So you sit down with these senior counselors. They take you through what lies ahead of you. A phone. Why would a child of 16, 15 years and below have a phone at home? Okay, even when they are to have that phone, do they have perimeters? Do they know that after 6 p.m. I hand over this phone to mommy? Are you even there to check this phone? Do you even understand the person they are talking to? Do you even understand the programs they are making with the people out there? Yes. Then secondly, you were asking me what lies ahead of them. There is society. There is society. I've told you I'm a senior administrator. But of course, in so many occasions, parents come around when we invite them for indiscipline acts of their children here and there. But you'll find that after assessment and due diligence, it normally goes back to the society. We are having parents that are operating Toninyira businesses to raise school fees. We are having parents that are operating in ghettos. That's where their homes are. You get?
Yes.
We have places like Chiai, we have places like Chiwunya, places like Waise, Chimumbasa. Our children are coming from all those places. So there is a lot of explicit habits. What comes out of the people with whom they are moving close to. The parents are sending, I've told you those that are operating Toninyira businesses. I'm giving that as an example because it's about 2 weeks ago when we were close to the closure of the term. Under the Stepping Stone, there is a parent that brought so many issues. The girl was a drug addict. But at the end of the day, she was operating a food stall. You get? And she was sending this young girl to collect money from these drug addicts, to collect money from these different societal people, from the mechanics, those youths. You understand? So she ended up catching a very bad habit. But it was not as a result of her own making, but it was a result of society. The people with whom she was operating with. You get? So society is a key player in the habitual context and role of these youngsters.
We had years back. We
Yes.
had an engaged community. You do something wrong, the whole community will do something.
Exactly,
Yes. Find you on the road loitering, some other parent will do so. But right
Yes.
now, if you did something to someone's parent, you have problems.
Exactly.
So what should people do?
So what's causing that? Fast forward, of course, we used to operate in societies whereby almost the whole village were relatives.
Yes, yes.
At least maybe if we were non-relatives, these people you would know their grandfather, your great-grandfather, and so many other people. That's why they would all have that moral authority to administer the discipline, to enforce discipline in those youngsters. But of late, most of the people are operating as strangers. For example, in Kampala City, you'll find that the neighbors even don't know each other.
They don't,
you know
yes.
that. Yes. Then secondly, we are having so many sicknesses that were not there initially.
Okay.
Yes, in the 20th century, because most of us are 20th century people. In the 20th century, we do not have such. People were so much fine. But of late, we are operating with children as young as 12, 13 with high blood pressure.
Yes.
They are diabetic and so many other. You get. So you'll find that at the end of the day, administering that justice is quite hard. But now what do we have to do as society? We shall go there. I'll take you through. Yes, then lastly, what lies ahead of these youngsters? I'll tell you this. Between the age of 8 to 25, people between 8 to 25 years easily catch habits.
Okay.
It's a period of exploration. It's a period of confusion. It's a period of looking at so many things. It's a period of not understanding the direction to which somebody should take. 8 to 25, you get. If you visit mental homes, mental hospitals like Butabika mental hospital, you'll find that most of the age bracket there is between 13 to 19 years, 13 to 25, and you start wondering, they are very young. I've seen very young children from whom you would not expect very bad habits to be happening. You get, but it's happening. Therefore, we need to understand that also lies ahead of the parents before extending the social support to them. Parents need to understand that the age bracket that we sent them, the 8, the 9, the 16, the 17, is an age group that easily catches bad habits. Okay. You've seen the explicit dress code that is happening of late.
Sure.
The basic age group that is exploring such is that age bracket, age group I've talked about. Wow. You get. So the parents ought to understand that it's hard, but it's a sad and bitter truth that is happening.
Sure.
So the moment you have a youngster of 8 to 25, you need to know that number one, there is a pretense. I don't know whether you know pretense.
Yes.
Personally, we as counselors at the Stepping Stone platform, we always find it quite hard to address truths to parents. Because a parent comes to you and says, no, this is not...
Okay.
I'll use my name. This is not the Katumba I know.
Yes.
The Katumba I know comes home, keeps in his bedrooms and does so and so. You get, as a teacher.
Or maybe parents are so busy. They are not giving their children time.
Exactly. There is that too busy syndrome of late. Too busy. The TB. Fathers are always told, there is the Honorable Latif Sebagala, always tells them that you have a TB syndrome, a too busy syndrome, always busy. So number one, parents are busy, but I would not extend the blame to them. The economy is tight, and you know the things are not so good out there. So most of them are not busy due to circumstances out of their own making, but it's due to finance, and there's so many other things that are happening of late. So the parents are too busy. That's one. Parents are too loose. They don't like us calling them loose, but I'll talk about it. Parents are very loose to these youngsters. Secondly, there is lack of follow-up. Parents are not picky at all. Do you know why students do not like teachers? At the end of and they normally love them after school.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's because the reason as why they don't like them in the due course of the process, it's because teachers are natural and normally picky. So the moment a teacher is not picky, picky in Luganda is called okweronda. The moment a teacher is not picky, they straight away fit out of the profession. Yes, for us, what we do is that we take note. We take interest in whatever happens. The watch they are wearing, the shirt they are wearing, what are they talking about? Even when they are 2, even when they are 3, what do they eat? How do they spend their leisure time? Because there is also that very big challenge.
I remember I was in primary 5, and I used to. I had an uncle who was very good with me.
Yes.
So I borrowed his spray, his perfume, and I went to school.
Yes.
I got canes for that.
Exactly.
What's wrong with me? Smelling good.
Yeah, you were smelling so good, but according to the status quo, then you were not expected to have that. By the way, we call parents about what they call petty things. You ask a parent, why would a child of 14 years come to school with 400,000 shillings. You
Yeah,
ask that
exactly.
follow up. You understand? So that's the level of being picky I'm talking about.
Sure.
I've talked about leisure, how these youngsters are going to spend their leisure. We are having very bad and explicit leisure activities of late. There are so many concerts that are being advertised. There are so many parties that are being advertised, extremely uncoordinated. There are so many bad things that are being advertised on TV, on radio stations, and so on. Of course, the radio stations, that's a money-making venture. We understand and we appreciate that. But what comes next?
Exactly. And now
We are having those house parties. We are having students. I don't know whether parents know the kind of friends their children are having. But children are having friends that are coming from homes where parents are absent, where parents are abroad, to which those homes can be used as avenues for organizing house parties.
Yes,
What
yes.
happens there? What happens there is unspeakable. You understand? Yes. So there is a lot that is going to happen. There is a lot that is going to happen. But my reason for coming here is not to scare our dear parents, but it's to come up with solutions. Of course, we have to talk through it. It's the informative. It's the informative bit I talked about at the start of the program. Yes, they need information. You need to understand, what do I do? Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. And now, maybe if we could go back to social support, what is its contribution to the overall well-being of these holidaymakers?
Of the holidaymakers, of course, social support. According to us as the Stepping Stone platform, the moment you extend social support to the holidaymakers, number one, they will get what we call personal realization. They will get to understand themselves. Psychologically, there is what we call individuality, that everybody is a true reflection of themselves. You get that I'm known to you. That's very good to teach to these youngsters, because in most times they catch the bad habits we're talking about as a result of not understanding that they are themselves. You get? That's one. Social support, extending social support is going to so much help the parents to understand the true version of their children. Dear parents out there, my prayer and request from all of you is that you make sure that you bring closer these children. You talk to them. You talk to them. Some parents are very bitter, especially the fathers out there. Very bitter. Daddy only comes home as an enforcement officer, and everybody knows. Everybody knows that the moment issues are handed over to daddy, you know now it's fire. But now I want daddy to bring that smiling face. I want daddy to bring that talking and friendly face. The reason that's why you pick a lot of information from these youngsters, it's because sometimes, number one, we fit into their character. Yeah? You try to talk to them as equals. They open up. Dear parents, the moment you talk to these 13, 14, 15, 16 children as equals, if you talk to them in a friendly way, in a friendly manner, you are going to pick a lot of information from them. Yes. Then social support is also going to help tailor their career paths. These youngsters are having so many dreams. Some of them are intending to have professions that they do not understand that these are very disastrous and very bad professions. But each time you talk to them politely, you pick information, you pick their mind. You know, when we are operating with youths and teenagers, one of the basic elements that we use is picking their mind. You get to understand what exactly do they want to be. Because at the end of the day, we look at the output. What's the output? The output of parenting, the output of psychosocial support is transforming this child, is transforming this teenager, is transforming this youth into a responsible person. Which responsible person? The lawyer we are talking about. Which responsible person? The engineer we are talking about. Which responsible person? The doctors. Our CEO at the Stepping Stone platform is a doctor. So she's a very good inspiration. So of course, in the course of extending the social support to the youngsters, there is a lot of career development. They also get to understand society. Remember, I talked about information. Time comes as the counselors and the mentors at the Stepping Stone platform, there is time that comes whereby you have to provide information to these youngsters. You have to be very bold, very clear, and very open to them. I've talked about the parents that are operating in Katanga, in the Bikubos, and so on. It's not that they are operating from there simply because they want, but it's because of the circumstances beyond their own their own making. You get?
Yes.
So now you need to tell this child that the moment we are operating here a food stall, and it's because I'm looking for your fees. That's one. We are operating from here because it's our source of livelihood. We are operating from here because it's where our home is. They need to know. That's one. That's information you're providing. Second, you tell them that the moment you go so close with such and such a person, you are going to be lured in such and such an activity. And the end result for the girls, you will get pregnant. The child shall be abandoned. You get pregnant, you drop out of school. The moment this happens, for the boys, you'll be lured into taking drugs. These are the ripple effects. At the end of the day, you get lured into this. You run mad. You turn into a societal nuisance. Nobody shall need to move close to you. Even the friends that are giving those drugs to you shall no longer be moving close to you because you'll be mad.
Sure.
You'll be as good as nothing. You get it? So social support is going to be so much of advantage to the parents and to the youngsters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, briefly, I want us to first go back a little bit. You know, whenever students are returning to school or pupils, these youngsters, when they're returning to school, we always have teachers complaining that the students, the morals are this.
There is a lot of decay.
Yes, what's the challenge? And when the at least for the parents, for them, they always feel like, okay, now we're having a problem. When the children come home, it is like a problem to them.
Yes, I understand.
What happens to what do you input in these youngsters well at school that the parents cannot?
Okay, the moment these youngsters at school, number one, we have what we call a program. They move by a routine.
Okay.
In the morning at 4:30, we are waking up. I take a bath. We go for prayers. After prayers, we go for breakfast. After breakfast, we have lessons. We have lessons for 2 hours and 40 minutes. After that, we go for a break for 20 minutes. After break, we shall have lessons. Then we shall have lunch, and so on. So, number one, we make them busy. Okay. That's one. Secondly, of late, we do a lot of talking. A lot of talking. We talk to these learners from morning up to night. Of course, as schools, now we have embraced what we call counseling and guidance. There are sessions now properly programmed and on the timetable. So you'll find that in most cases, when we are talking to these learners, you are talking to someone. Of course, sometimes the information you are passing on to them might not be of importance to all the group that you've called, but at least there is a group. Sometimes I've personally communicated to these youngsters, and then at the end of the session, one of them comes to you and tells you, "You've been talking about things that I was doing in holidays. How did you know?" You get it? So we do a lot of talking at school. We do a lot of counseling. Now we have made sure that each one of our youngsters, for example, at the Stepping Stone platform, we get them what we call mentors.
Okay.
Personally, I'm having a group of over 100 children. The doctor, the CEO, has a group. You get, we have engineers there. We have lawyers there. Each one of them has a group of children to mentor. So each time they move close to you, each time I personally, normally when I'm talking to the class teachers, I tell them that you should come up with a roadmap. You should have a class list. Get time and talk to each one of these young learners individually. Now that's what parents do not do at home. Okay. They rarely call these youngsters in one-on-one sessions. You talk to them. You ask them, what do you want to be? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the problems you face at school? You get, you ask in an objective manner, whereby it's not aimed at making the school culpable or pushing them under the bus, but it's aimed at making sure that, number one, improving their service delivery, and number two, understanding what exactly happens there. Some of these young learners are victims of bullying, but some of them do not even understand that when such and such a thing is done to me, it's bullying. But in schools, those are the sensitization sessions. For example, in senior one, for us at our school, the moment senior ones, the very first week, we take them through all that. The moment somebody does this, that's called bullying. Sometimes they do not know that when somebody comes to you with that rude face, they use their physique and so on, they tell you, wash for me that shirt, wash for me that trouser, rudely and so on. That's bullying. So you take them through that. Yes.
And how are you managing this? Because if the parent side is not settled, you're going to have a problem of every time we are going to be renewing these children.
Yes.
So are you trying to engage the parents on what to do when they have these children?
Yes, we are trying. We are doing it. We are so much engaging parents. For example, under the Stepping Stone platform, we have organized a residential Holidaymakers Haven. Okay. It's residential now. They are going to be kept there for 4 solid days. It's starting on Sunday 10th and it's ending on Thursday 14th. Okay. So, dear parents, other than Stepping Stone, I would like to call upon all of you to engage your children in such holistic sessions. You get? Take them out for such. They need that mental awakening. They need to understand that they need to get that information. They need to get that psychosocial support. They need to get that career guidance. You get? They need to get that friendship. They need somebody to talk to. Okay, if you are not there, now they need to understand that I'm cared for, I'm loved. Do you know that some of these young girls move out there with these boys simply because they are not told that they are loved, simply because they are not told that they are beautiful back home? But as a parent, do you get time to tell your young daughter, 8, 9, 10 years, you tell them you are looking smart, you're looking so beautiful? You get these, so that at the end of the day, these are not new words out there.
Oh, yes.
But as parents, we only come in to criticize, to condemn, and to do so many things, to reprimand, to raise dust. I've talked about the fathers. The moment daddy moves to the dining, everybody disappears. You've seen that. They all move out of the house. They only come back later when it's done. You get it? So I was taking you through what the Stepping Stone platform has organized. So the Stepping Stone platform under Dr. Namala Hanifa Sengendo has organized what we've termed the Holidaymakers Haven. The Holidaymakers Haven is aimed at, number one, extending career guidance to these youngsters. Number two, it's aimed at extending psychosocial support to these youngsters. It's aimed at extending what we call hygiene and sanitational manners. We are going to extend all that support to them. It's aimed at extending what we call self-realization to these youngsters. It's aimed at breaking barriers. Some of these youngsters have what we call low esteem. I don't know whether you've encountered people that we call introverts.
Yeah, sure.
Those that easily withdraw. And some of the parents do take pride in that, but it's not right. The moment a child is an introvert, I'll tell you this, it's a secret. There is a secret that goes that every person blows their own trumpet. The moment your child cannot come out boldly to talk about issues, to raise awareness of what they are feeling, of what they are thinking about, sometimes even their own things are going to be picked from them. You understand?
Yes.
So there is that mental awakening. But we are going to boost esteem. We are going to boost personal understanding. That I told you it's called individuality and so many other things.
And maybe let me ask you a question. There's something I don't understand. Being an introvert, is it something someone is born with, or
it's born,
or you can take it away?
Yeah,
can it be taken away? Can you become an extrovert?
Very good. I've personally seen so many introverts advancing to what we call them extroverts. Yeah, we call them extroverts. So that advancement, it's a barrier that is broken.
Okay.
Number one, some of the ventures we do, we start with what we call presentations under the Stepping Stone platform. Most of these people are shy. What causes being introvert so much? It's as a result of fear to be judged.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there is so much fear. There is a lot of fear in judgment. They fear being judged. They are like, what are these people going to think of me? What are these people going to say the moment I utter out this? So
I think teachers have done really good work.
Yes.
I remember back in still primary.
Yes.
Some people would intentionally refuse to raise up hands
Exactly.
because they fear what answer they will give. But when teacher insists that they give an answer and it's correct,
Yes.
the teacher beats them for not raising up their hand. So I think that also sorts the introverts.
Yes, of late we may not beat them, but
yes.
there are statements that we make.
Yes,
we tell them, don't worry, talk about it, and then we start with small groups. You tell them we are going to have a session. Maybe Sebastian, you're going to talk to the three of us.
Hey, you don't believe in beating?
Yes.
You don't believe in beating?
Of late it's being phased out. It's being termed as capital. It's part of those corporal punishments. Beating.
A little
no,
whipping,
I told you initially it was good and very good, but that was then.
Okay.
But right now, by the way, there is a lot of discipline and enforcement, even when those youngsters are not beaten. Yes. I'll tell you some of the measures, by the way, briefly. Number one, there is a lot of what we call spy. There is a lot of spying in schools. Make sure you have cameras of late. Make sure that you can pick information. Even the smallest unit, you can always tell what is happening there. That's one. One way of enforcing discipline is by giving them what we call charity work, sweeping around and so on. That's one. There is what we call reprimanding. Do you know reprimanding? You call somebody and you seriously raise dust. That's there. But normally when reprimanding, we are so much technical. We dwell around the issue. You don't go into non-issues. You understand? Thirdly, we enforce discipline through suspensions. Yes. Suspensions. You tell the child to go back home for 2 weeks. Now, normally when the parents are so much supportive and they also raise dust at home, you'll find that discipline at the end of the day is realized. And for the explicit and very bad behaviors, we have indefinite suspensions and expulsions.
But I feel at some point in there could be some
there is need of some chibok. But maybe that's after the consent of you, the parent. Because now our worry is that according to the guidelines of the Ministry of Education and Sports, that takes all schools in Uganda, caning and strangling, beating and so on is termed is also part of corporal punishment. Now, so it's that one is out of range. Yes. So back to the Holidaymakers having, I would like to take you briefly. So it's going to be organized at Katalemwa Junior School. Katalemwa Junior School is at Matuga, Bomba Road. Yes. So we are going to set off at the National Theatre on Sunday 10th at noon. At exactly noon we shall be setting off. So that literally means that between morning at around 8, 9, 10, let's have all our youngsters delivered at the National Theatre. It's going to be a residential haven. Each person, the moment your child is brought, the moment you deliver your child, we give you a coupon. A coupon is aimed at safeguarding at the end of the day who comes for this child. You understand? It's a safeguarding method. So we shall be moving from there in a group. It's all intentional. Literally, our sessions are starting from there. The moment they travel in a group, they learn teamwork. You understand?
Yes.
They learn operating with others. So we shall be moving in a group to Katalemwa Junior School. The moment we reach there, we have a couple of sessions. There is what we call, we are going to have informative movies. Very informative movies. They are going to look at these movies. That's one. We are going to have what we call a campfire. I don't know, you already see the campfires. We shall sit around, but then here we shall be sharing stories, talking about so many important things. We shall have career guidance. Yes, we shall have. We are going to have a lot of counseling. A lot of counseling. We shall have what we call a nature walk. You know nature walk?
Yes.
Of late, we are talking about climate change. We are talking about global warming, and we are talking about so many issues. So we are going to take these youngsters around. They appreciate their environment. You'll find that as the parents at home, sometimes it's us that even lower our car windows and so on, we lower them and we tell them push out this bottle.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes, but we want them at the end of the session, it's them to advise you. Please, mommy, that's not right. It's against the environment. At the end of the day, it has ripple effects like this one. Then we shall have one of the biggest events. We are taking them to Katalemwa, home for the needy and disabled. Yes, there is that home for the disabled and the needy and so on. We are going to take those youngsters there. It's 2 in 1. Number one, the intention and purpose for that, we are making sure that they get to appreciate what they are. Maybe some of them do not even know that some of these children there were just abandoned by their parents. They at Katalemwa. Some of them do not understand that some of these youngsters are looking for as low as 100,000 to go to school, but it's all in vain, it's not being seen. You get?
Yes, yes.
Number 3, they ought to understand that they are people without hands. We have friends that cannot speak, not because they do not want, but because of creation and so on. So we believe that at the end of it all, they will get to understand whom they are. They will get to understand that individuality in them.
Wow.
And we believe it's going to transform them. So the whole session is going to be 100,000 only.
Okay.
Yes, 100,000 Ugandan shillings. Then during the career guidance sessions, we've partnered with friends from Makerere University. We are having friends from COSIS, from COBAMS, from FEMA, and SEDAT, and so on. These friends are going to help us with so many things. From FEMA, and it's FEMA as well as COBAMS, the School of Accounting and so on, Faculty of Economics and Management. We are going to have friends to take these youngsters that are aiming at becoming accountants, auditors, and so many other things. Right. They get information from the horse's mouth. The College of Health Sciences, we are having doctors that are coming, even our own CEO. It's going to, how did she come to become a doctor? There is Engineer Shaban, is coming through to share his story. You get it? So normally when they talk to these people, we are going to have journalists. Of course, when these people see you on TV, they admire so much. Now they need to know the journey. How have you advanced to come to these screens? We understand that other than the academics and education you had and you gained, you have what we call soft skills that have helped you.
Yes, sure.
The soft skills. We are going to talk about etiquettes and decorum. Yes, decorum and etiquettes. Of course, you know character has always pushed people out of places. Character. So we are going to talk about etiquettes.
All right.
These things like thank you, excuse me, moving, not pulling shoes on ground. They are things that portray somebody that came from a top of the range school and environment.
Oh, wow.
So Dr. Namalahani Fasengendo has organized a very sensational event. We are going to move from the National Theatre on Sunday at noon to our haven, that's Katalemwa Junior School. We are going to have a couple of events, and I believe towards the end of the session I'm going to share her contact.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yes,
you're going to give us the contact.
The contact.
Of course, we're still discussing why we should, the need for social support to the holidaymakers who are currently at home. And of course, we're still going on, but we're going in for a very short break, then return immediately.
Okay.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Welcome back. You are still watching Issues at Hand here at Church of Uganda Family TV. And remember, we are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe, a very nice place you would want to go and check on. Last time I promised to go there for gymming, but I think my ancestors have not yet accepted. But anytime, I promise I'm going to go there. But please go and check on all their services. Their accommodation is perfect. The meals are so perfect. All kinds of meals are not only local ones, but also all other meals are provided there. The accommodation, oh my God, you wouldn't want to test. The swimming pool, the gym, the spa, all is at its best. So reach out to Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe and experience the greatness of that place. Now we're still discussing the need for social support to the Holidaymakers, and with me here is Katumba Umar from the Stepping Stone Foundation, and he is a mentor and a teacher. Now, right now, I want us to discuss the role of a parent in terms of providing social support to these Holidaymakers. Here at Church of Uganda Family TV, we have a program. We are running a campaign of safe screens, where a child can watch content on screen without issues. Even with the parent, you can be watching with the parent and they be like, are you first to go? Watch this show.
Yes.
And then you come back. But that campaign aims at a safe screen for every person. So these are things I think the parents could find interesting. Because I understand most parents are so busy. The economy is not well.
Busy, the economy
people
is
are finding resources from anyhow possible. But the child you're living at home with the remote watches everything. You see how our concerts are being advertised for these musicians.
Several concerts.
Very, very, very terrible.
Uncoordinated. The social, the house parties and so on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what should be the role of the parent in providing social support?
Dear parents that are viewing Family TV, you are the key players and most important players right now. As the schools and the teachers, we've been with these youngsters for 9 solid months. So now it's your time to shine. Okay. We call it their time to shine. Now, as a parent, number one, the moment a child has reached home, have you checked what they've carried from school? Did you buy all that they are having? Are they having flasks that you did not buy? If you keep quiet when a child is having such things, you would have done a disservice to yourself and to the country and to the child. You understand? Number two, diagnose the friends they are having. Of course, 2-3 days you will get to understand that my child is having such and such a friend. You get?
Yes.
Number 3, what are their hobbies? Hobbies are so much important and they are key. They are key elements and players. Are their hobbies smoking? Because people take smoking as a hobby, of course, to pass time. But normally, the addicts we get at the Stepping Stone platform, they tell you, I was passing time. I was being neglected by mommy and dad, and it felt like maybe if I start smoking, it makes me feel good. There is a way it quenches that absenteeism of dad and mommy, and it makes me feel good and nice. As a parent, number 4, look at how your child spends their time at home. It's key and important because most of the bad things are done during leisure time. Even at schools, most of the indiscipline acts that bring these learners to book are normally done during that leisure and free time. You get at home. What do they watch on TV? What do they see? What do they listen to on radio? Censor everything. Don't worry. They are going to say, mommy is too picky, mommy, get and so on. Daddy is too picky, daddy is so much insecure and so on. What do they have?
Talk about the how about the kind of freedom, if I could catch
Yes, there is a lot of freedom.
There's a lot of freedom.
Yes, I was going to talk about the dress code. Yesterday I was traveling I found a girl of around 13, 14 years with a lot of makeup on herself. Now, a child of 13, 14 years, makeup for what?
For what? Really?
You understand? Eh? So there was a gap at home. Straight away, as a mentor and a youth assessor, I get to know that there is a gap. Back home now, the dress code. Do you even look at what they are going to wear? Normally, when we are moving around from around 3 p.m. up to around 6, 7 p.m., you'll find them roaming around the streets of Kampala and moving here and there. But is it right? As a parent, the leisure, let them have properly coordinated leisure. Buy for them some games like chess. Yeah?
Yes.
Chess brings about that creativity. It brings about calculations and so on. Bring about novels to read. We have very good and nice novels for them to read. Get them some videos and tutorials. There are some religious videos. Are they praying? Are they prayerful even? You understand? At the end of the day, the moment somebody is non-religious, they lack ethos. Somebody that is non-religious, they lack that sense of shame. Do they even pray? Whom do they talk to? Whom are they staying with at home? Dear parents, you are over interesting strangers with your children. Maids are part of our families. We understand and we do respect it, but do not overtrust them. As a mother, as a father, as an auntie, that I was accorded by to this responsibility by God, not by yourself. Make sure you play your role.
Yes.
In the course of this holiday, a lot awaits. We have so many scavengers and vultures out there waiting for these young girls, and they even take pride in it. Yes.
So, how best can communities come together to also foster this?
Okay, communities. Number one, right now, you need to have a lot of whistleblowing. You know, whistleblowers.
Yes.
When something happens, you know that Katumba is the son to Mr. Kamlegea. Katumba has done something that is not right. If you know Mr. Kamlegea, please don't talk to him. You know a place where these youngsters normally sit and take alcohol, where these youngsters normally sit and take marijuana, they do drugs and so on. Raise the nearest police. Last week we had issues. I had gone to see, there is a parent that came to us at the Stepping Stone platform. One of their children had been arrested for reason being they had beaten up a child at their school then. So I happened to interact with this youngster. He was just influenced and lured by friends. Let's go and beat him up. That's what I told you at the start of the program, that they easily catch habits. Do you know they are friends? So communities, dear members of the community, let's be whistleblowers. It's our main element. Number two, let's be good examples. Good examples. Prayerful parents, people that do not take alcohol and start uttering out all the vulgar. You get?
Yes.
People that do not lure and call these youngsters into very bad acts. Sometimes we have so many unspeakable stories. The rich parents of late have drivers at home. They are also an element in the bad acts that are happening because parents tend to overtrust them. Our dear maids, they tend to overtrust them, and some of them lack the expertise. You get it? Yes. So as the Stepping Stone platform, in a bid to boost this whole program, we have organized this residential haven.
Yes.
4 days of fun.
What are the dates?
4 days of fun. The dates, it's between 10th this month, that's Sunday, this very coming Sunday, to Thursday, 14th.
All right.
Yes, that next week. So I would like to share with you our contacts.
Yes.
In case you would love to reach us to make your bookings, to ask for direction, or there is something that you've not understood properly, please feel free to call us on MTN 0772 750708. 0772 750708. Airtel 0701 750708. Airtel once again 0701 750708.
That is interesting. That is Katumba Umar from the Stepping Stone Foundation. Of course, they have a very interesting upcoming event, as he has noted. You can take your child there for this. I know there are so many parents out there who really I implore you to go for this, because really you're not there for your children.
Exactly.
Take the children where they can have can have a valid time, and not peer pressure from friends having very bad groups.
Yes. And as a parent, they should feel free to conference with us at the end of the session.
Exactly.
Yes.
So maybe your parting shots as we wind up this, your last.
My parting shots are, dear parents and viewers of Family TV, it has been a pleasure being here. That's one. Secondly, I would love to ask all parents out there, let's have what we call intentional parenting. Let our parenting not be accidental, but rather intentional. That's one. Number two, let's extend what we call hard love to our children. You know hard love? Hard love is whereby you love somebody dearly, but it does not deter you from showing them what's right and what's wrong. Let's extend hard love. Let's be prayerful. Let's teach these youngsters how to pray. Let's monitor their leisure. Let's monitor the society from which they are operating. And then finally, bring them to the Stepping Stone platform, the Holidaymakers Haven at Kataremwa Junior School, between 10th of this month to 14th of this month. We are setting off at noon from the National Theatre, Kampala City. Yes.
Thank you so much, Umar. It has been an interesting engagement with you. Of course, we appreciate the time that you have truly given us here. Now, that has been the need for social support to these holidaymakers. It has been our discussion, and I hope you picked out something to help you majorly in this period when the children are home for a very long holiday, because most of them are varying. We even have workers who are going to go up to August, so it is a long time. You need to surely have some knowledge about what you can do with these children while at home. The teachers have done their part. It is now your time to shine, as Umar noted. It has been an interesting one. My name is Luke Majumba Alnet. I've been sitting in for Caro Nowamani. I remember we've been powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe, but Shama David has been doing us well here on the cameras, and of course Didymus in there in the control systems. I can't forget our producer, Mr. Edwin Austin Mukalazi Salongo. He has been away. I thought the twins were sick, but I think it was him who had issues. Today he came with a very natural watch on his on his wrist. But anyway, it is interesting for us here today, and we greet you. Have a blessed day today.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.